Hello and welcome to the Half in the Bag commentary track for Ghostbusters Peace Sign. I'm Jay.
And I'm Mike.
And I am the Keymaster.
Oh.
That was just a big failure right off the bat.
Just like Ghostbusters 2.
Yes.
Well, I guess we should say right off the bat, rest in peace, Harold Ramis.
Yes, of course.
We're talking about one of his lesser works, but I think we all still loved and admired a lot of things that Harold Ramis did. So,
Ghostbusters 2 is not one of them. Although he has his moments in this.
Egon's the best part of this movie. He has the best bits.
You mean you never even had a slinky?
We had part of a slinky, but I straightened it.
It's the exact same movie, almost scene for scene.
Who outside of Dan Aykroyd and the studio wanted to make this movie? Because we know Bill Murray doesn't want anything else to do with the franchise, and I don't blame the man.
Yeah.
Anyone who invested money into it wanted to make it too.
And because
Audiences wanted it.
Well, sure. I mean, this is the movie they had to make. It's not the movie they necessarily wanted to make.
Yeah, it's interesting because clearly they had more money to work with. The first movie made so much money. You would think, like, especially with all the weird ideas Dan Aykroyd had before, the first movie got pared down to what it was for budgetary reasons.
With all of the original material that was going through my mind when I wrote the first script, which is, the history of mediumship. He knew who Madame Blavatsky was, the psychics. He knew the Fox sisters were, of Swedenborg, of all the spiritualism, the spiritualist movement at the turn of the century. Also, Zecharia Sitchin and ancient biblical myths. And so by bringing in the vernacular and the real science of the paranormal into a comedy, so...
You could take the Ghostbusters in so many different directions. Why have them repeat the exact same thing?
These are all very good questions.
We may never know the answer to them either.
The fear we had was that we would make a disastrous, sequel that just appeared to be for the purposes of making money. Mm-hmm. And it's obviously not. It's obviously a lot more,
Other than the Q baby, the opening sequence is completely stupid.
It doesn't make any sense, but the out of control carriage, I think that's fun. It's fine.
So it was clearly a very, very terrible way to shoehorn in Sigourney Weaver's character for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, well, that's the huge
Jay,
coincidence that she's right in the heart of the threat of this movie, just like the first movie.
Yes, because her baby carriage rolled over a random patch of slime that somehow got all the way up to street level. Even though later in the movie, it's clearly running in a river 700 feet below the street.
And it's just randomly Dana Barrett, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not like it had to be Dana Barrett because of Gozer or anything.
No.
Why me? Why my baby carriage? Is there something about me that just attracts these supernatural things?
It's possible you have a genetically linked etheric emanation that predisposes you to paranormal vulnerability.
In other words, yes.
Look, one time you got turned into some sort of monster terror dog and tried to destroy the city. That could happen to anyone. But that's you remembering the bad times.
Oh, there's little Jason Reitman, who went on to become a fine filmmaker in his own right. I really like his movie, Young... Oh my God, I'm breaking things. Young Adult. I like that movie.
This is the only good music in this movie.
Is it weird that the Ghostbusters theme song is now in the Ghostbusters universe?
Yes.
I always thought that was odd.
And it's also weird that they changed their logo to say 2.
That makes no sense.
Completely. I don't know if that's considered breaking the fourth wall or what.
I guess it would be. Their company, though, is not a sequel.
No.
They're just reopening their company.
They did save the world. I could see somebody writing a Ghostbusters song. That just happened to be the Ray Parker Jr. Ghostbusters song. A lot of things in this movie are done for the sake of, the cartoon that was going on at this time.
Yes.
The cartoon had an Ecto-2 helicopter. So
I don't remember that.
So they couldn't call the Ecto-1 in this the Ecto-2. They had to call it the 1A.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that was... Well, let me ask, do you guys remember seeing this movie for the first time? Do you remember what your reactions were when you first saw it?
I remember hating the slime plot. I thought that was just
dumb.
I love the first part where you see where they are now.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's interesting is I like seeing where they are now, but this would have been more interesting seeing where they were if this was a sequel made now. This is only a couple years after the first one. It's dumb that the Ghostbusters are broke up and they have to get back together just for the purposes of recreating the first movie again. If this was Egon, you know, they're all retired from Ghostbusters now. He's in his 60s. He's doing these weird experiments. Ray runs an occult bookshop. Like, all that stuff would have been interesting if they were older.
Right.
But having it happen right after the first movie is...
But this is one of my favorite scenes in both movies.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right here.
I like this.
Let's see what happens when we take away the puppy.
But I think the reason why this first act works is because it plays up these three characters.
Yes.
And
yes.
their schlubbiness, their awkwardness. Like Bill Murray's a con man. He's doing his con man bit.
Yeah.
Egon's a bizarre scientist who's out of touch with normal people.
Yeah.
And you
Raised
know,
in love with the occult.
Raised in love with the occult and
occult bookstore.
He's obsessed with his craft and what he does and that's...
And nobody gives a fuck about Winston, so they don't really show what he's doing.
They give him one scene early on so you remember him, and then he disappears. Yeah, all this stuff where they're not Ghostbusters is wonderful. It's so bizarre.
It's very appropriate to the characters.
Yeah.
And the characters is why the concept works, more so than the ghost packs. And
It really isn't the concept. The concept's neat, but it's really these guys and the way they handle all that stuff that sells it. I do like Janos. He's a nice new addition because he's something different. Even though he serves the same story function as Rick Moranis in the first movie,
right?
He's weird, and I like him. He has some good lines.
If everything you're doing is bad, I want you to know this.
I really like when Venkman asks him, like, he's like, "Where's that accent from? Where are you from?" And he's like,
"The Upper West Side."
What you were saying, Jay, summer of '89.
Oh yeah,
movie summer ever.
It was like Back to the Future 2, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Was that Last Crusade?
Last Crusade was '89. Batman.
But the most important movie of 1989 that came out
UHF?
was UHF. Yes.
Was that '89?
That was '89. No, '89.
Oh my God.
And it flopped.
That's why it flopped, because it came out against Ghostbusters 2, Back to the Future 2, all these big movies. So, oh yeah, and that's another thing. They broke up. Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver broke up after the first movie, so they could have a romance blossom in this one again.
Right.
The only difference is that she has a kid.
Yep. So this scene, of course, is the equivalent of the Bill Murray comes into her apartment the first time scene.
Yeah.
And makes awkward advances on her and pokes around with the little stick thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing this. This may be my first, like cinematic disappointment, seeing this in the theater as a kid. Where even as a kid, I was like, this is the same movie. Like when I was old enough to understand things like that.
I just understood that it bored me.
It bored you? I was actually, because I was a big fan of the cartoon. I did like the cartoon a lot. But I was disappointed that the movie was doing things similar to the cartoon. I was like, I wanted to see a sequel to the movie. I don't want to see the cartoon in the theater.
Friendly Slimer?
I haven't seen this in a long time. I rewatched it for this commentary, and I was actually pleasantly surprised at how little Slimer was in this. I remember him being in it more when I was a kid. I mean, like, Slimer, why is he in this? They caught him. Oh, because he was in the cartoon. None of the Ghostbusters smoke anymore.
Yeah.
Well, this movie was made for the kids.
Yeah.
I want you inside me.
Go ahead. No, I can't. Sounds like you got at least 2 people in there already. Might be a little crowded.
And I was a kid, and I hated that fact.
Oh, sure.
It drove me nuts.
And it is PG. I'm fucking telling you, it's PG.
So when they reboot Ghostbusters, we talked about it a little bit, but what other elements will be in the new Ghostbusters movie?
We all know when they make a new Ghostbusters, it'll be proton packs firing every 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
They're going to look like iPods on their back, too.
Yeah, good call. Good call. They'll be sleek and black.
It'll start like looking like this, and they'll say, "We gotta upgrade."
Right. Oh, will the Ghostbusters car be something new now? Will it be a
It'll have to be, yeah.
flying Ghostbusters car?
The car will fly?
Yeah.
Are we assuming a sequel or a reboot?
It'll be a reboot. Even if they have even if oh my God, even if Dan Aykroyd shows up for like one scene, it'll be one scene, it'll be a wink, but he won't be a major part of the movie.
Because I'm just wondering how they'll ruin, like, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
If they won't do a direct remake of the first movie. It'll just be another movie with Ghostbusters. Yeah, I don't think they would do that.
No, not if they're including.
I think it would just be another movie with Ghostbusters. I don't know about the flying car though. Actually, I think that might be too futuristic.
They would say it's too goofy. Definitely I don't know what model or make the car would be, but it would be a Ghostbusters car, but it would be sleek.
It wouldn't be an old junker.
Would it be like a product placement car though? It wouldn't be like a funny car. It would be like a Ford Explorer.
Sure,
probably. Maybe
Something
they got paid to use in the movie. Yeah.
And it would be eco-friendly.
It would run on ectoplasm.
And you were reluctant to be a part of any of them until you heard this idea. And why was this idea appealing to you?
It was only because I knew these girls were funny.
You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
You didn't disclose that the vehicle was going to be a hearse.
I'm sorry, my uncle owns a funeral home, not an Enterprise rent-a-car.
Hope you checked to see there wasn't a body in the back.
I don't think so. I don't really know.
You didn't check?
I mean, I was in a hurry. I checked to see if we had gas. That was more important.
So there is a body?
Let Holtzman check. She likes that type of stuff.
Yeah, I can think of 7 good uses of a cadaver today.
No, Dr. Frankenstein. We got to turn in the body if there's one in there.
All right.
Don't do that.
Okay. Just tell me what you need. Well, 20.
Like they mentioned at the beginning of this movie that after the events of the first one, they got sued by every organization.
Well,
that's great. That's perfect. But to have them just not be Ghostbusters anymore, and also the fact that nobody believes in ghosts anymore,
right?
Like that makes no sense.
The world does not recognize the existence of ghosts. I don't believe in them either. So I don't want to hear a lot of malarkey about goblins, spooks, and demons. We're going to stick to the facts in this case.
Like, did everybody just forget?
Right.
Because proof of the existence of ghosts would change the world too much.
But that could make it interesting. I mean, there is a certain level of sort of science element to these movies too, so you could explore that a little more.
They threw it all in the garbage.
Look, Jay. You make a plot about slime so you can sell jars of slime to kids. And you can also make a new backpack that they wear that the kids will want to buy that shoots slime.
Yeah, super soakers are probably popular.
Oh,
You
sure.
come with the tank, and the kids can shoot the water out of the tank and pretend to be Ghostbusters. With the proton pack toy, didn't they have like plastic that
it had a foam thing. In the front.
You could stick the foam thing and then it would spin around.
Didn't translate to a toy very well.
You don't need the foam. You just give the backpack and you pretend you're shooting. You're a kid.
I had the proton pack and that's what I did. Yeah,
My proton pack. I got rid of the foam immediately.
Yeah, me too.
We used our imaginations.
I remember playing Ghostbusters on the playground as a kid.
So
now kids just use cell phones.
They use their Ghostbusters app.
Yeah. there's an app for that. The imagination app.
It tells you what to pretend? Is that how that works?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how to play. What do I do?
And then it just brings up a movie, and then you just watch the movie. That's the imagination app. But I wonder how much of the script turning out the way it did is laziness on Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis's part, and how much of it is just the studio saying, just give us the exact same thing.
Were they the two screenwriters on this?
Yeah.
Well, isn't Dan Aykroyd the one that absolutely loves the Ghostbusters, though? He's the paranormal freak in real life.
Yeah.
I can't.
But he's also the one that, especially around this time, had so many ideas. Like, why would he just want to rehash the first movie?
He probably got pushed down by studio people.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
They just said, just give us the first movie again.
To ask him.
Let's call him up right now.
We'll pretend we're going to talk to him about UFOs.
I'm Dan Aykroyd. Since childhood, I have been fascinated with the invisible world. A world which can help us get through life if we know how to draw upon its power. There are plenty of photographic and audio materials, both conventional and digital, and also some trace physical evidence. But there is no jar of ectoplasm, and no one will show us the bodies from Roswell. We've had nothing to touch until now.
only the most challenging arena in the legal recreational consumables industry, vodka. The obvious question is, why did we do this?
So Janusz loves Sigourney Weaver just like Louis Tully did.
Yeah, yeah.
And then comes to her apartment door and knocks on it, and she won't let him in, just like Louis Tully did. This movie sucked.
Don't take any risks, Mike. Don't take any risks.
Oh, here's a bizarre thing. They introduce Winston in this scene, and then he just disappears from the rest of the scene. Where did he go?
You know, I noticed that too, but then last night I read an explanation.
Oh, really?
There are only 3 proton packs on the desk.
But where is he in the scene?
He apparently, you can very briefly see him escorting people out, but it's like it goes by really quick.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something, I guess.
Thank you for that explanation.
That's been driving me nuts since I was a kid, so it is nice to know that there is somewhat of a reason for it.
So does the slime just summon ghosts? Because they come out of the slime. It almost seems like the slime makes ghosts.
Now, why isn't the slime? It's not green because it's not ectoplasm.
It's purple because the slime they sold for the cartoon show was purple.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh man, you remember all these things from the cartoon? I don't remember.
Cartoon.
I loved it too, but I don't remember.
I remember the toy was purple. The slime in the cartoon could be any color, I think. But I know they sold purple slime.
Really? Well, that explains a lot.
Because it was cheaper to dye the slime purple than green. Is it that cynical in this movie? But the ectoplasm in a ghost sense is different than this pink slime, which is like, this is like solidification of bad emotions or something.
Yeah.
Dumb like that. So it's different than
dumb like that.
The residue of ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different thing, but
yeah, it does make no sense why
the
ghosts
of this movie,
would just emerge.
Well, it's just slime. They just call it slime.
Yeah.
And is it unrelated to the Vigo character? I forget.
It's related in a really sort of convoluted way.
Yeah, because they show it painted on his painting.
Yeah, yeah.
We need a scene that gets the Ghostbusters back into business.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of the Slimer scene in the first movie. Top-notch effects for the time, though.
Yeah, those ghosts look too cartoony, though.
Well, you could say that about Slimer.
Cartoon show.
Yeah, you could say that about Slimer in the first movie too, though.
Well, sure.
I like that a lot of the ghosts in the first movie are like there's that skeleton cab driver, and there's a lot of them that are more grounded in a realistic look.
The librarian ghost.
And the librarian ghost,
classic ghost.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the way to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, these look more like toys you would sell from the cartoon show.
They should have looked more like old serial killer guys flying around. But that wouldn't have been with scared little kids.
This is the baby Ghostbuster movie. You know, as a kid, it always bugged me that they weren't wearing their uniforms during this scene.
They're in a courtroom.
I know! I was a kid! I wanted to see the Ghostbusters in their jumpsuits shooting ghosts, not in suits.
You'll see plenty of that later. You can still see that today, actually, if you go to a convention that Ernie Hudson is at. He actually wears the Ghostbusters uniform at conventions.
Huh.
Yeah,
that's
a little sad.
Just sad.
It's a little sad.
That's the line that you should never cross.
Yeah.
As a. Now we're back. Hey, here's the running down the street shot.
And then it's immediately followed up with a montage, a music montage of them catching ghosts.
They're suddenly back in business.
Just like that. And then, the sign. We visited the Ghostbusters fire station once, and they let them keep that sign after this movie. They have it hanging in the front of the building there, on the inside of the building. So that was kind of neat to see.
Yeah, but those gray uniforms, like on the poster, and they never wear them.
Is that just an excuse to have more toys?
I don't think they
Different
ever made
outfits?
Maybe, but I don't think they ever made toys like that.
No? They made some weird-ass Ghostbusters toys, especially near the end.
Sure.
I remember there were ones, I had like a Ray one where you squeeze his arm and like the top of his head pops up and his eyes stick out. Like they were coming up with weird toys.
Did any kids ever want those? Because the only ones I ever wanted were just the standard uniform Ghostbusters with proton packs.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the proton pack. That's all I wanted.
I had the regular toys in the car.
Did either of you ever have the firehouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had the firehouse.
You both had the firehouse?
Yeah.
I remember it had an action pole that the Ghostbuster would slide down on a little platform, and it was like spiraled. It would spin.
Uh-huh.
I never had any of these things. All I had was Ray, when you squeezed his arm, his eyes popped out.
Jay had a part of a slinky.
And part of a slinky. I don't know.
This is slightly different. This is this character seeing their TV commercial as opposed to Sigourney Weaver. Their bad TV commercial. So, although I think it's probably edited with the exact same shots and pacing.
This whole montage or that bit?
Maybe the whole montage too. Why not?
Okay. I do know that this bit here where Ray runs a red light was part of a longer sequence where Ray apparently gets possessed by a ghost or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was all cut out.
It's him possessed by the painting. Remember when he stares at the painting? And,
maybe it's related to that.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Oh, there is a scene where she watches the commercial. Never mind. Except she's not exercising, she's feeding her baby. Yeah, this is so cartoon show. You know, this scene, Winston there hanging out, like... All he wanted to do in the first one was get paid. Now he's helping investigate. Like, he didn't care at all before. He just wanted a job.
Yeah. Now he's a Ghostbuster.
Now he's a Ghostbuster, yeah, just like the cartoon show.
Although they do insinuate here that Egon had sex with the slime, which is fun.
Yeah.
The simplest of things you could have changed. Like, she could have just been Venkman's girlfriend. Maybe they could have been married, whatever. So many little tweaks you could do that would make it feel...
you wouldn't have the sexual tension, like him trying to win her over.
Sure, maybe they have a new bump in their relationship.
Yeah.
You know, Peter Venkman's an asshole, and I can't see any relationship working with him. He's a funny character, but in real life,
if you were to encounter him in real life, you would be,
Well, you're not going to get a green card with that attitude, pal. Okay?
Oh, no, not this scene.
This scene I vividly remember seeing in the theater.
Yes.
Because there was some, like, drunk hooligans in the theater, and they started yelling, when she takes off her shirt, they started yelling, like, take it off! And I was, like, there with my dad. It was horribly awkward.
I think this is the moment, when they show the cartoon bathtub, that's the moment that lost me. I was on board up until that moment.
Oh, really?
When the bathtub, like, is trying to grab her and it looks so terrible. And I was like, what? And I think that was it. That was it.
He looks like he's, like, hungover or something. I wonder if there was a scene that was deleted.
Possibly.
It's just an awkward way to...
Have you ever seen the deleted scenes from this? They're not.
I don't think they exist.
This is like a bare bones DVD.
I don't think anybody's seen them. I've read about them. I've seen still images. I know there's a lot of deleted Slimer stuff. There's a deleted scene where they put the Statue of Liberty back.
That was actually, in rewatching this, that was something I was curious about. There was a scene of that?
I don't know if they actually showed going back on the pedestal, but I know there's a ceremony by the Statue of Liberty with dialogue and everything.
Well, they show a little bit of that during the credits of this. When the credits are rolling,
they just pan up and you see the... Yeah. But it's like a shot, but I know originally it's like a whole scene.
Okay. How often in this movie is Bill Murray actually in the Ghostbusters uniform?
He didn't want anything to do with this movie.
Yeah, he's never in the costume.
The very end, after they get out of the asylum.
The asylum?
Yeah.
After they get out of prison, I mean, after they get out of the asylum.
Right, that's another parallel that's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, if you're going to cut out the little side story with Ray getting possessed, why include this? Where he's like staring at the painting and... Because that doesn't pay off in any way.
Maybe just
at the very end.
It doesn't...
It goes by so quick, though. It's like, why do it at all?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do anything?
I guess because you have to have something happen in the movie, especially at the end, to make it seem like there's some sort of threat.
And then having him jump out of the painting into Ray's body at the last minute is some mild threat of some kind.
That's immediately discarded. Yeah, I didn't really think about it. He spends this whole movie wearing this jacket. He's never in his costume. It'd be all right if I knew it was like a character choice and not just Bill Murray not wanting to wear the stupid costume anymore.
Well, Peter Venkman was never really a Ghostbuster.
No,
he was always just trying to con his way.
Yeah.
Along.
It's funny at the end of the first movie when everyone's covered in marshmallow fluff and he just has like a tiny bit on his shoulder.
He's not a uniform guy. The other two are. Ray and Egon are nerds.
They love what they do. They love being Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Peter Venkman does not.
He's just out for himself.
We're going down into the sewer.
Yeah, we think we can trace the source of that psychoreactive slime. Do you want to come?
Sewers?
Darn, I wish you'd told me. I got this dumb dinner reservation.
You don't want to miss this, Venkman. There could be a tremendous breeding surge in the cockroach population.
Oh, here's this subplot.
Yeah. We have to put them in there because they were in the first movie. I guess we have to give them something to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got like the leopard print, coat, the bright green gloves, and the bright red hair. Like, this is not the same person from the first movie.
Ghostbusters 1 Janine would just be annoyed with Lewis Tully. What's this asshole? That's what she would say. Get away from me.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
I want to do the movie where I don't wear the costume.
There's a number of scenes like this in the movie where the other three show up to tell Bill Murray something, and then he just leaves the scene.
Yeah.
And they go off and do something else.
It's probably the only way they can get Bill Murray to do it.
I guess, yeah.
I don't want to be covered in slime.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear that heavy backpack.
Yeah.
He probably had a shit ton of stipulations.
Sure.
I want to do as little as possible.
But then I've heard him, like, in recent years, him complain about the lack of quality of the second Ghostbusters movie. And you're like, well, you kind of contributed to that by not wanting to do anything in it.
Just shouldn't have done it at all.
Yeah. I did like, he was on Letterman a few years ago, and Letterman mentioned, he's like, now you did Ghostbusters, and there was a Ghostbusters 2, and then Bill Murray just goes...
And there was a Ghostbusters 2, wasn't there?
Technically, yes.
Yeah. Now, and I keep hearing talk about a Ghostbusters 3, but you...
It's a nightmare. Yeah, this is my nightmare.
Really? Now, will you be in Ghostbusters 3?
I told them if they killed me off in the first reel, I'd do it.
Right.
So
ghost trains are a thing. People say they hear a ghost train.
There's, the ghost ships, ghost trains about the equivalent of a ghost ship. I'm okay with that.
What does Dan Aykroyd think about these things, though?
He probably fully believes in them.
Let's get past the debate whether they're here or not. Let's start to analyze who they are, how many of them are there, what kind of systems they're using, what their intentions are.
He'll talk for 2 hours
He'll talk for 2 hours about it, yeah.
And how the ghost train is really a UFO.
I woke up in the middle of the night and I said to my wife, they're calling me, I want to go outside, they want me to come outside and see. He said, who? Something outside wants me to come out and say, oh, just go back to bed. I went back to bed, but...
This is too goofy.
This is kind of goofy. His face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winston is dead weight.
Did he? I watched the cartoon all the time as a kid, but I don't remember much of it anymore. But did Winston have more to do in the cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're all kind of had equal screen time in the cartoon.
Did he have more of a character in the cartoon?
Not really.
No.
Okay. He was still just the other Ghostbuster guy.
Is the down-to-earth one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting, Richie, saying that the slime was a toy sold before this movie existed.
Yeah.
I did not know that, and it completely explains the existence of this movie. When was Ecto Cooler introduced?
There's going to be a great new high-C flavor with an outrageous fruit taste. And what are we going to call it? Ecto Cooler.
I'm going to say after this.
After this? Well, the cartoon was still on after this.
Yeah.
I just remember Ecto Cooler existed until like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it in the store. I was like, Ecto Cooler is still around?
Might still be. I think they just changed the name.
Okay.
Eventually, they just lost the rights. I thought it was like called like Shoutin' Orange Tangerine or something weird.
It was, yeah. It wasn't called Ecto Cooler, but up until like 2000, 2001, it was still Ecto Cooler.
Okay.
Let's play Cavity Buster. Toothbrush Ray, sexy gun.
Back to the movie.
Oh, talking about Ecto Cooler is more interesting than the movie at this point.
That's true.
But she doesn't know specifically that Vigo's trying to take her baby.
Yeah, that Vigo's gonna possess her baby.
You'd still think she'd want to be around her baby until this is cleared up, for sure.
Well, you're right.
Fancy dinners would be out of the question.
Yeah.
But when you got Louis Tully to watch your baby, then you got nothing to worry about.
Janine should
Oh my
not
God.
like this man at all. This is so wrong.
They're nerds because they have glasses.
They're quirky. They're both quirky.
I guess she liked Egon.
Well, that made sense in the first movie.
Egon's kind of nerdy.
Yeah.
I'm usually very psychic about these things. I believe you're gonna die. Oh, God.
What?
Too soon? That's pretty awful. Sorry.
Mike, he
point.
lasted 30 years after the prediction.
But he was the first one to die from the Ghostbusters. Fancy dinner scene being interrupted. The equivalent of the Tavern on the Green scene.
Yeah.
Here we are in Central Park. Let's see what else we can find.
The video game is a better sequel.
A better sequel than the non-existent Ghostbusters 3? Better than the Ghostbusters?
Then Ghostbusters 2, and then the non-existent sequel.
No, and you did the video game. The video game
was kind of
wildly successful.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. And
What is the story of the video game?
They just follow up on Gozer stuff. But I mean, the important thing though is you get those characters and you get the witty banter. The game is more quotable than Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, wow.
We eat gods for breakfast.
Does Bill Murray sound indifferent in his voiceover?
Some people say he does. I think he sounds like Peter Venkman though. It doesn't sound too different to me.
So, you're welcome, huh?
Oh, here's where they meet with the mayor.
Just like they met with the mayor before.
And the Walter Peck equivalent character is there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, remember, Mayor, the time we saved the city? And we're warning you that there's problems again, but you don't believe us for no reason?
He doesn't understand what they're talking about.
The mayor's just completely skeptical, even though all this has happened before.
I don't believe in ghosts anymore.
I think there's some line in this where someone says that they, like, don't they make try and explain some reason why people would not believe them?
Mass delusion?
Mass
probably?
delusion or something like that. Like one just completely stupid line. Bill Murray's saying, I'll be in the sequel. The scene where you guys are in your long underwear. Find a way to not have me in that scene. I'll show up in a suit.
Bill Murray should just still be in his suit.
I'm not gonna wear the straitjacket in this scene. Oh, and there's Brian Doyle Murray. It's Bill Murray's brother, popping up for a little paycheck.
Bring me the child.
Command me, my lord.
Now he gets turned into a ghost somehow.
So, yeah, maybe Vigo gives him magical powers to turn into a witch.
But he's a ghost.
He's transparent.
Yeah, he's not just flying. He's a ghost.
Magic powers. He said Vigo was a powerful magician. That is a line in the film.
He clearly turns him into a ghost.
You can be a magician, but how do you make someone a ghost?
Magic. Ancient,
just magic.
Ancient Carpathian magic. I don't know.
Nothing that's happening right now makes any sense.
So, okay. Vigo wants a new body.
Yes.
Even though he comes out of the painting at the end, so he has a body.
Yeah.
What's a ghost body? He doesn't want a ghost body. He wants a baby body.
Oh, that's right. They have to do this. I was like, why didn't he just go and fly a ghost out to grab a baby like 6 days ago? But they have to do it some ritualistic New Year's Eve.
Yeah, there's some explanation for it.
I forgot about that. Don't catch your coat on fire. Look out for those candles.
I was gonna say, now she's wearing Venkman's coat. Is that like a passing of the I don't want to be in this movie anymore baton?
Yes.
I'm done with this. I'm Ripley, damn it. Get me out of here.
She's got to kill time before the next Alien movie.
That's disappointing. You win an Academy Award for playing an awesome character, and then you're just damsel in distress in a Ghostbusters sequel.
You could do worse.
I love when he does that.
Theodore Rex.
And you think you're gonna get somebody?
And here's the
slime.
this is the montage from the first movie of the ghosts taking over the city. This bit, I guess, here with the coat was something that was originally planned for the first movie.
Yeah.
I like this little bit. And then it scurries down the sidewalk. I like that.
So slime touching her shoe turned the mink into...
As established earlier in the movie, the slime doesn't have to touch anything.
Oh my god!
But this movie doesn't deal with interdimensional beings, so why is there a giant monster? In this movie, it's just ghosts.
Maybe that was a Tyrannosaurus Rex ghost, Jake. Dinosaurs have ghosts.
Okay.
They have souls, yeah. They're all in heaven with Jesus. What's so funny?
And Kurt Fuller still doesn't believe in ghosts, even though the city's run amok with ghosts.
Yep. Yep. You what? They're in jail? I mean, the hospital?
Mike, they changed it from jail to the hospital. That's something different, all right?
I'm breaking new ground.
They get out.
The
they
sky
get
is
let out
even the same effect.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a line. He says, "Have you ever seen anything like this before?" And I was thinking, yeah, in the first movie. Oh, look, he put on the suit.
It's the end of the movie.
Way to be a
has
team player, Bill Murray. He's not interested in living in the past.
And you can hate him for that, but he's right, and he's justified, and he doesn't owe you anything.
Exactly. And look at where his career has gone compared to Dan Aykroyd's. Bill Murray's taken some chances, tried some different things. Hasn't always been successful, but he's at least tried.
And I love Dan Aykroyd, I do.
Sure, but Blues Brothers 2000...
Yeah, I know.
I guess Dan Aykroyd tried. He made nothing but trouble.
You're forgetting my stepmother was an alien, Jay.
Oh, God, you're right, I am.
That's a classic.
That's a classic.
Coneheads.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, I just can't believe things have gotten so bad that there's no way back.
There's another deleted scene where they talk to the mayor before they go into the museum.
Another scene where they talk to the mayor?
Yeah, before they go into the museum. That's another cut scene.
Oh, like outside the museum?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got Count Dracula's first cousin in there. He's got my girlfriend and her kid. Now, around midnight, when you're over kissing people at the Waldorf, he's gonna pop out and he's gonna start performing amateur head transplants.
This is bullshit.
Oh, we're coming up on your favorite scene, Mike.
What scene's that?
Oh, you know what scene that is.
Oh, God. You know, I've tried to rewatch this movie a couple of times. I don't think I ever got this far. I don't think I ever got to the Statue of Liberty part.
Really? Since originally seeing it?
Yeah,
wow.
I vaguely recall they had a Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
And yeah, walks down the street.
Yeah, this is where I completely start hating the movie.
Yeah.
With the Statue of
Most of the
Liberty.
movie is a tired rehash, and then you get to this, and this is just dumb.
It's also a rehash, though. They wanted a giant thing walking down the street.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is the worst thing ever. It's so illogical, so cartoony, so...
Yeah, I remember the cartoon making more sense than any of this.
Typically, yes.
Was Lewis in the cartoon?
Yeah.
He was in the cartoon.
Only after this came out. He was in like 3 episodes because they tried to make the cartoon look a little bit more like Ghostbusters 2. And then he never showed up again.
Okay.
Here's another parallelization. The Lewis Tully character covered in some kind of
covered in something, yeah.
And or disoriented.
Why are my drippings with goo?
That's positively charged.
We gotta explain it somehow. Just throw a line in. They can control whether the slime is positive or negative now?
They established that earlier. I said that's when the Egon made love to it.
Mm-hmm.
There was that scene. They explained this.
So do you think all these tanks of slime here, Egon had to fuck all those? And that's how they made it all positive?
That's why it looks different. It's both slime and semen.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh.
There's a deleted scene of Egon just fucking those tanks. And then he disappears.
He doesn't need a baby.
No, he's out of sync with reality.
I don't know how this actor didn't go on to a huge career after this movie. He's such a looker.
It's not even.
Give me the next Brad Pitt.
It's not even his voice.
It's not his voice. I actually did see that guy in one other movie. He's in John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness. He shows up and blows his head off with a shotgun.
Does he say anything?
He does. He has a couple lines.
Here, this is when they got knocked down by Gozer.
Yeah, that's just because they didn't want to act anymore. They're like, can we just lay here for the rest of the scene?
This is exactly what happened.
But they don't even bother to get up for the rest of this scene. They're just going to lay there.
They could aim their weapons at him, right?
Well, they might hit the baby.
Yeah, he is holding the baby.
Well, before that, I guess.
But I guess they could shoot the baby with a slime cannon. So
yeah, it's positively charged.
Yeah.
You don't want Vigo to drop the baby, though.
No, no.
They're weighing all these possibilities. And Sigourney Weaver's tied up with plastic tubes.
Dropping the baby is better than Vigo overriding the baby's soul, okay? How do we end this movie?
This is when he hears the singing.
This is the singing now is weakening him.
You need to establish that everyone in New York is a jackass.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think they're going on the assumption that everyone knows that already.
Yeah, I know, but for the sake of the film...
Someone made a whole bunch of money off this, Rich.
This was a hit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody really remembers it fondly, but it did make a shitload of money.
You go to see it just because it says Ghostbusters.
Yeah, yeah. I do like this makeup on him here.
Yeah, the demon character looks cool.
Here's the big Ray possession payoff. For 1 second.
He gets possessed for 1 second, and then that's it.
Oh, Harold Ramis has a great line.
Ray, we'd like to shoot the monster. Could you move, please?
Yeah, that makeup's great. So they're shooting him with positively charged slime, and they're shooting the painting with the proton packs. What is this? What is this doing?
It defeats evil, Jay.
That's not even what their proton
you can
packs
clearly
do.
see. I know.
They're like lassos, basically.
I know.
There's lassos for ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could have come up with something clever. You know, like they could have thrown like turpentine on the painting.
Oh.
And that could have defeated Vigo.
Yeah.
And that would have been mildly clever.
But that wouldn't involve them shooting their proton packs.
Yeah, you have to have them shooting their proton packs, even if it doesn't make any sense, just because they're Ghostbusters and that's what they do.
Like destroying that painting. That's like the obvious thing.
Yeah.
No, just shoot it.
Just shoot it.
It's the laziest fucking way they could have ended this movie. And that's what they went with.
And then they all climb down the stairs of a building.
And the credits roll as everybody cheers.
Yeah. We're going to be in the Ghostbusters sequel. Isn't this great? No.
I think we had waited a long time to do the second one, probably too long. And so that weight even grew heavier.
Yeah.
But I think people are now starting to see the magic that is actually there.
But there should be no debate anymore. UFOs exist. They are intelligently manufactured and guided technology from somewhere else, not this planet.